Okay, today I'm going to be sharing with you the essential questions that you should be asking if you're considering a direct selling or network marketing or MLM business, and if you're wondering whether or not that particular business would be the right fit for you or not. I've personally been in the network marketing industry since 2010, and I get approached all the time to look at other people's business opportunities and to potentially join their team. And these are the very questions that I ask them whenever I'm approached by any sort of business opportunity. And you know, the number one thing that they say to me when I ask these questions is, gee, no one's ever asked me these things before. So it's really important that you are able to do your research so that you make sure that it's the right fit for you or not. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 21 questions. And those questions are going to be about the company itself, the products, and then the compensation plan or the business. And those questions are really going to give you a good idea of whether a particular business opportunity is the right fit for you or not. Just to introduce myself, my name is Brittany Ash, and I help busy moms reclaim their identity as more than a mom so that they can create more purpose, more confidence, and more freedom in their lives. So I believe as part of being more than a mom that every single mom should have something outside of the home that gives them passion, purpose, and fulfillment so that they are more than just mom, right? So, a couple of ideas for that. Of course, if you have a career that you love, that is awesome. If you love to volunteer in your community or at your church, or maybe taking on community projects or that sort of thing, those are all great ways to create that arena of fulfillment for you and passion and purpose there. But my favorite way is, of course, the home-based business. And of course, with a network marketing or direct selling business. And I'm going to tell you why just real quickly. One is it is perfect for the busy mom because it gives you that flexible schedule. So it's going to work around your busy mom life. Whereas if you took on a part-time job or even a volunteering gig, you might have a certain schedule that you have to stick to that could interfere with your responsibilities as a mother and the things that you want to do at home. It also helps you to contribute financially to your household so that you feel more of a purpose there. It gets you some adult conversations that, let's be honest, ladies, it's not about poop or about breastfeeding, right? So some adult conversations that have different subject matter. It's going to give you some independence. You're going to feel like you're making a difference in the world. It's going to give you an arena to achieve and to feel recognized, and to be known as yourself, as your name, rather than just mom. So when I say your name, I love that my business lets me be known as Brittany and not just as mom. So the thing is, these opportunities are wonderful. They are perfect. They are perfect for the busy mom, and that's why so many moms take on these business opportunities. But the thing is, a lot of times when we sign up, right? We do this when we are what my friend likes to call emotionally drunk, right? You're probably approached by one of your friends. Maybe you were at an event and you heard all these success stories and you're like, whoa, they make $1 gazillion in a month. That's insane. I want that life. And they work like 2 hours a week. That's incredible, right? And we sign up on the spot because we are just so excited, right? And then we get into these businesses and we realize, this might not have been the right fit. Okay. And that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you do. You sign up for a great business opportunity and it's a great fit and all is well. But I want to prevent the regret from happening for you. I want to prevent the resentment from happening for you. First of all, I want to say that there is nothing wrong with making an emotional decision. We're women. As women, we make a lot of emotional decisions, and that is great. So you should be making a decision about a business opportunity within 24 to 48 hours of being presented with that business opportunity when you are still excited about it. Because what happens after the 24 to 48 hour mark is what's called the law of diminishing interest. And what that means is that fear starts to set in, right? And you start to hear voices in your head, things like, "What? You can't do this. You don't have any time to do this. You're not a good salesperson. You've never sold anything in your life. What are you thinking doing this?" Right? You're just stick to what you're good at and not taking on anything new that's safe and all that stuff, right? Those voices start going on in our head. And once those voices start kicking kicking in, you don't know how you really feel because you're getting all those voices of fear kind of coming at you. So if you make your decision within 24 to 48 hours, then you're going to know your heart decision, what you really want to do. The thing is, you don't want to make an impulsive heart decision without doing some research. So that's why these questions are really going to help you. So I recommend that you ask these questions to the person who presented you with the business opportunity within 24 to 48 hours of being presented with the business. So that way you can make a logical decision, but also you're still emotional and you're still excited, because that really is the best time to sign up. One word of caution: I would recommend when you are doing research on any sort of direct selling, MLM, network marketing business, that you don't do a Google search for that. I mean, you can, but I'm going to tell you something, that most, what you're going to come up with, you're going to come up with a lot of hate sites. And most of the people who have hateful things to say are people who didn't do well at something. So you're really only getting the bad reviews as opposed to the good reviews. So if you do take the time and you can't resist and you want to Google your company name and you want to Google reviews about it, do the person who presented you with the business a favor and give them the chance to kind of go over those things with you there. And hopefully they're going to be honest with you enough and tell you what's true, what isn't true, what is just somebody just being disgruntled and unhappy, or how the company has solved that problem, or they're going to tell you, they're going to be like, yeah, that is an issue, but here's how I've gotten around it, or that sort of thing. So just, if you are tempted to Google, just do it with a grain of salt, knowing that there are a lot of haters out there. And the more successful a company is, or the longer they've been around, the more haters there will be out there. So just remember that. And that's kind of a rule for real life there. So I'm going to give you some questions. I've got my notes down here. That's why I keep looking down. I'll just be honest with you. This is actually my first YouTube video, so hopefully I'm doing okay. I am a little nervous, but I thought this was a really relevant topic to talk about that a lot of people don't discuss, and it's how to do your research before you sign up. So I'm going to give you questions about the company and about the products and about the compensation plan. And I want you to think of that like a triangle, okay? So with the company being at the top, the products being here, and the compensation plan or the business being here. And the thing is, if any one of these is not solid, you're going to have a really hard time being successful with it. That is just my professional opinion in my years and years of experience in the network marketing industry, that if one of those aspects is not solid, you're going to have a really, really hard time. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be impossible to be successful, but you'll have a difficult time. And one thing to keep in mind as I'm going through these questions, most of them do not have right or wrong answers. They have right or wrong answers for you. So I'm going to present to you some of the answers to these questions so you can think about what is the best fit for you based on what you would want out of this business and what is best for your family. So just so you know, most of these questions, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It is important that you are in a business that fits your needs. There are so many options out there. And so it's really important that you have the right fit for you so that you don't waste a whole lot of time, whole lot of money, whole lot of your talent and your energy pursuing something that really wasn't the right fit for you in the first place. Okay, I'm going to go through. So the first questions that we're going to talk about are questions about the company. And this is where you're definitely going to want to take out a pen and a paper and write these down. So first, questions about the company. So question number one, the first question you want to ask: how long has the company been in existence? Okay, so there are two schools of thought here. If it's a newer company, the benefit of that is you're going to get in on the ground floor, right? Which is a great benefit, especially if you're joining an MLM, where you have to build a downline in order to be making a significant income, right? So there's great benefits of that. However, you are risking, and you should know this, when you sign up with a company that is brand spanking new, you risk a couple things. First of all, you risk that, number one, their compensation plan hasn't been tested enough yet to know if it has staying power and long-term success with people. You also don't know if their products have a long-term effect and results with people. And the other thing is, if you know, we hear all the time about these companies going under. And I want you to imagine this. If you put your heart and soul in a business and you built this huge organization of maybe a downline underneath you, or you just really, you know, built up a big business for you that was sustaining you, and then the next day you get a phone call that your company went under because it couldn't sustain itself and support itself, you're going to be really, you're going to be out in the cold, right? And you hear these stories, these horror stories, that people can't deliver products to their people because the company is gone, and these people have already paid for these products and they got to get them the money and all that. So there really is a benefit to companies that have been there for a long time. And then of course, there is a great benefit to be getting in on the ground floor. One more benefit of getting in with a newer company is there hasn't been overexposure of those products. So some of these companies that have been around for a long time, people have already developed a stigma against them or have tried them all and everything like that. Whereas a newer company, you do have that benefit that no one's heard of you before, and it's an exciting new opportunity. So that's just kind of the pros and cons of both of that. So you want to know, how long has the company been around? You want to know, is the company growing or is the company declining in profits? What are their annual sales? Are you signing up with a company on the rise, or are you signing up with a company on decline? Question number 3, is the company publicly traded, or is it private or family owned? So neither are good or bad, but here's what you want to know about that, okay? So a company that is publicly traded is usually beholden to their stockholders. So a lot of their decisions that they have to make have to do with pleasing their stockholders and that sort of thing, especially financial decisions, marketing decisions, that sort of thing. Whereas a family-owned or private business can really can do what they want. And if there are like solid company values that the company has, you want those preserved. And very often once a company gets publicly traded, they don't get to preserve those values anymore because they care more about the bottom line to the stockholders. But the benefit of it being publicly traded is that it's a more supported company. So it's more financially supported. So that means that the company is going to be able to support you. And they have more dollars to invest in advertising for you and prizes and that sort of thing. So those are kind of the pros and cons with that. You want to know, where's the company based? And whether or not this is important to you, it's important to me that the company that I am working with, that the profits stay in the country I'm in. I'm in the United States, so I want to make sure that I'm working with an American company where the profits are staying here in the in the USA. So that's one thing that you want to know. Where is the company based, and where are the profits going from the company? Is the company debt free? That's really huge, really important. You know, we had the recession just, you know, a few years back, or maybe it's almost a decade. I think it's more than a decade now. But, you know, we had the recession that was going on back there. And a lot of these companies that, you know, had debt, they ended up going bankrupt. Well, if you are debt-free and you're in full profit mode, you're not going to go bankrupt because you're working on your own funds. So it's important to know if a company is debt-free or not. How does the company give back to the community? And your concern for this question is really going to be a personal thing. Do you care about being associated with a company that gives back, that maybe has a charitable foundation, that the company's profits really give back to the community and do good things? One of the great things about that is if your company does have a charitable foundation, then a lot of times you can do fundraisers for your company, and it's a great selling point for your customers too, for them to know that when they purchase from you, it's going toward helping the community and toward good. And then the last question to ask about the company is, what are the company's values and principles? What does it stand upon? And how firm are they in those principles? And really, this is just an easy question. Can you agree with those? Does that align with you, their principles and their values and their priorities there? So those are some questions for you to ask about the company. A lot of times in a sales presentation, you might already get some of that information, such as the company's values and how it gives back and all of that. But it's really important for you to really do your research on the company so that you know whether it is a solid company or not, because truly you are investing with them. So you're going to want to make sure you do your background information. Okay, second thing. is you want to ask questions about the products. Okay, so first question you need to ask about the products is there a product that is being sold to the ultimate consumer? Okay, here's what I mean by that. Like, where does the money come from that they pay you with? All right. Is it because of a product that is in the marketplace that customers are purchasing from the reps? Or are you making money only based on the people that you bring in, on the money that they come in with? So is your are your profits paid off their startup fee or their sign up fee? And let me just tell you something. Okay, this is one of those non-negotiable. If you don't know where the money's coming from, if it is not coming from a product sold to an ultimate consumer, run. Because that is a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme, and those are illegal. So if you have a girlfriend or a friend who presented this business to you, you tell them, you grab them by the arm and say, you need to get out now, because it is not sustainable. If they haven't been caught yet, they will be caught. So you want to make sure that there is an ultimate product being sold to the consumer, so that it's a legal direct selling company as opposed to a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme. Now, direct selling companies, multi-level marketing, network marketing, as long as there's that that product that is being sold to that consumer, and as long as they align with the direct selling association and the legalities with that, direct selling business, that's my dog barking. A direct selling business is the perfect way, is perfectly legal, perfectly ethical. All that means is that you just have individuals who are selling direct selling to a customer, and it's like franchising. The recruiting should be like franchising. So just like, it's totally fine if Starbucks wants to open multiple locations across the United States instead of keeping their one location there in order to reach more people. You're just doing the exact same thing with your direct selling business. So I'm not going to go into a ton of information about that. Maybe I'll do another video that talks about that. But just so you know that a direct selling company is not the same as a pyramid scheme or as a Ponzi scheme. Okay, so the next question about the products should be, are you excited to use the products yourself? Seems like a no-brainer, right? Life is too short not to do something that you are passionate about. So, could you see yourself getting passionate about selling these products? You can't sell something that you're not excited about yourself, right? Now, okay, let me give you a little disclaimer. You don't have to be a professional or an expert in that area. Like, if you don't know anything about weight loss, it doesn't mean you can't sell a weight loss product. The question should be, could you learn how to sell that product? If you're not a beauty blogger or in the beauty industry, right? Maybe you're not a big makeup wearer, but the question would be, could you learn? If you learned how to do it, could you see yourself being passionate about it? Same thing with skincare or travel or that sort of thing. Like, you don't have to be an expert in that area to get started, because most of these companies, they're going to train you how to talk about these products. But you do need to ask yourself, like, could you be passionate about it? Could you see yourself getting excited about it in the future after you've learned about it? You need to be willing to practice what you preach. And, one thing that I tell a lot of people who are on my team is, I'm like, you've got to be willing to fully switch over your brands. And so, are you willing to to do that with the products that you would be selling here? Now, there are a lot of products out there that maybe, you haven't seen results yet. So like weight loss takes a while for you to experience the results of a weight loss program. Or skincare is another one. You got to use it for a while to see the results on it. It's okay to start a business if you personally haven't started seeing those results yet. But you just want to make sure that it's something that you can get excited about. And that brings me to the next question, which is, do the products work? Okay, so like I said, you might not personally have been using them long enough to have a before and after, have that testimonial, but are there other people who have legitimate testimonials using these products? A lot of times that's why it's nice to have a company that maybe has been around for a while, so you've got testimonials from people who've used the products over time. But you don't necessarily need that, but it's a good thing to think about. Like, Where are the testimonials of people using the products? I'm not talking about the business right now. I'm talking about the products. Do your products work? Because if your products don't work at all, it's going to be really hard for you to sell them. And the last question that I recommend you asking about the products is, are they consumable, right? So here's what I mean by consumable. Do people use them up and then have to reorder more? Okay, so things like food, cosmetics, supplements, that sort of thing. All those are consumable products that people use them up and have to reorder more. Or is it a non-consumable product? Things like handbags, clothing, knives, kitchen utensils, that sort of thing. Those are things that people buy one time and they don't reorder. So here's my advice to you on that, okay? Obviously, having a consumable product, it's going to be easier to generate residual income because your customers are going to be reordering it. Whereas it's not as easy to do with a non-consumable product. So what you're going to want to ask the people who share the business opportunity with you, if it's not a consumable product, what is their strategy for generating residual income from your customers on those products, right? So that's just something that you want to think about when you get started with a company, when you're looking at the products there. So yeah, definitely ask the person who was sharing the business with you, their strategy if for creating that residual income there. Okay, so then the last section of questions you want to ask about the compensation plan or the business opportunity, how that works, okay? And most of the time, if someone's sharing with you about their business, you're gonna get a lot of this information already. But there are some things I'm amazed that some companies just don't share with you right up front. So here's some questions that you wanna ask. So the first thing is, you wanna know what percentage do you make on your product sales? I'm always amazed when a company does not share that percentage with you. They'll very often share like your recruiting commissions when you build a team, but they don't often share with you the percentage that you make of profit on your sales. And most companies, that can range anywhere from 10% to 50%. Is usually the 50%. I haven't seen any higher than 50% for a payout and commissions on sales. So you got to kind of decide for yourself what's worth your time. Figure out how much you need to sell in a month with that commission structure there, or that profit structure there, to make your desired income, and then how much time it would take to do that. So for example, let's say you're at a 50% profit margin, just to keep things easy and the math easy, and you need to make $500 a month. So you need to sell $1,000 a month in order to make that $500 profit, right? So you need to be talking with your recruiter with how much time would it take for me to sell $1,000 in a month? What is the activity level that I need to do? You might also ask this question: do you make a profit on your first sales? Or do you have to build your customer base to a certain level in order to start making a profit on your sales? So those are some important questions to ask, so that way so that way you're not spinning your wheels in the beginning. I talked to so many people, they're like, I just was spinning my wheels in the beginning, and I was working and not making any income from it, not making any money, and that just shouldn't be. And the other thing you want to know is, does the company pay you in your profits? Okay, so we're still talking about profits on your product sales. Do they pay that in a commission, meaning they pay you like a commission check once a month where you receive that and it's automatically deposited into an account, or is it on a Visa card? Some companies do that. Or is it a profit base? So what that means is you would purchase the products at a wholesale price, and then you would sell it to the ultimate consumer, and then you would keep the difference for how much you so if let's say you purchase the product for $1 and you sell it for $2, then you would keep $1 profit, right? So that would be a 50% profit margin there. So just asking them, how does that all work? How you're getting paid out. I personally like a structure where I purchase at wholesale and then I get to keep my profits, because that gives me a lot of control in my business, and it allows me to make money right away, immediately, not having to wait for a monthly commission check. So that's just my personal preference there. The drawback of that is that a lot of times when you're doing that, you'll pay for your own credit card processing fees and that sort of thing, and sometimes you do have to carry an inventory. So those are just some things to think about. Like, how does the company pay you for your commissions on the products? Now, again, if there is no commissions on the products, right, and there are no products being sold, run away, because that means it's not a direct selling company. It's probably something that is not up to snuff. Okay. Next question: how does the commission structure work when you recruit new people into your business? Here's what I would say: like, how complicated is this, right? Is it easy for you to understand how to make money in your business? Do you have to develop different legs? I hear people when they talk about they have to develop these different legs, and what they'll do is they'll spend time on these 2 legs, and then they can never get the third one going in order to make that level. So just asking for that, and how long does it take to get to the levels that you would want to get to each level in the business? So those are some questions to ask for that. Next, this is an integrity issue with the company. How much of the profits does the company keep, and how much goes back in the hands of the sales force? So here's what I mean. If in the amount of money that the company brings in, okay, so yes, the company wants to make profits, right? The company wants to make an income, right? These are not charities that you're signing up for. There's a company that is running this, and they are, making profits and making income. It's free enterprise capitalism, right? So of the money that they bring in, you want to know what percentage of that does the company run on, and what percentage actually goes back into the hands of the sales force in the forms of commissions and prizes and that sort of thing. So that's a good number to know. And most recruiters don't know that number. So what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to go back to the company and find that information for you, because the company should have that information. But here's why this is an important question. It's going to tell you the motivations of the company. Okay. So, a company that is putting 50% or more of their profits back into the hands of its sales force is a company that is going to be very supportive of its sales force. It's going to be very driven to help you with your business. It's a company that was created for the people who are working this as a business. Whereas if they're taking the majority of the profits, and then there's just people getting rich, like in the company with it, their motivations are going to be a little bit different for how they run the company. They're going to be focused a lot more on the bottom line. They're going to be focused a lot more on maybe undercutting the sales force and that sort of thing. So it's just an important question to ask, so that way you know what is the motivations of the company. Next question about the compensation plan. You need to know how the process works. How does the sales and recruiting process work? So is it a party structure? Do you do parties? Is it all on Facebook? Is it just Facebook messaging people? Do you sit down and do you do presentations? If you've been a customer of the person recruiting you, you should have a good idea of how the products are sold. Do you just send videos to people? How does it all work? And how do you get more customers, right? How do you get more leads and all of that? Now, let me tell you something. If you've never done a business like this before, these strategies are not going to be very comfortable for you, okay? Uncomfortable is okay, because it's something you've never done before. And of course, you're going to feel uncomfortable at first doing something you've never done before. But if there are practices that go against your internal values and your internally who you are and your priorities and all of that, if it makes you feel icky, okay, there's a difference between uncomfortable and icky, then you're going to have an issue with presenting the products that way. So that's what I can tell you. If it is a party format, don't get hung up on personality. Don't get hung up on experience and that sort of thing, because the truth is most of these companies are going to train you how to do that, and most of these companies are going to give you personal development. So if you're kind of afraid of doing a party like in front of a group of people, don't worry so much about that. That's usually something like that you can it's a skill set that they're going to teach you how to overcome that. And especially what I love about these businesses, for my shy girlfriends, it's a great opportunity to become a little less shy, because you're given these opportunities to develop that and all that there. So, just some things to think about. You want to know how the business works. What is the process? Oh, this one's big. You want to ask if people can buy the products without having to go through a distributor or a sales rep. I'm sickened by how many companies out there set up storefronts and undercut their sales force by having these storefronts available here where people can purchase from these brick and mortar stores or even on a website. Like, if they are able to purchase direct from the company without going through a sales rep, it's just not cool to do to the sales reps who are busting their butt, working really, really hard to develop customers, and then people can just order direct from the company and not have to go through a rep. That's a big deal to me. So you really want to find that out and figure out how that all works. And those sort of things. You want to know what is included in the startup costs. So most companies, you do have to pay at least a little bit to get started with them. So what do you get? Do you get a starter kit? How long does it pay for you to be a rep? Do you get, do you get a certain amount of product or that sort of thing? So you want to know what is included with the startup cost. You also want to know what other expenses and fees can you expect. So things like, do you need to carry inventory? Are there annual fees? Like, do you have to pay yearly or even every quarterly in order to remain a sales rep? What other business expenses can you expect? A lot of times when people, they come into these businesses and they think like they just pay the startup fee, and they're very surprised when there are other business expenses. And I never like to do that to my people because I don't want them ever to feel like there was a bait and switch. I want to make sure everyone gets all the information of what it takes to run a successful business. So that's something that you really want to ask, because very often in these recruiting conversations you're having with people, they won't share that information because they don't want to dissuade you from signing up. So you want to make sure that you've got all your facts in front of you. What else can you expect after you sign up so that there are no surprises? Are there any quotas you have to meet? Is there a minimum amount that you need to sell in a certain amount of time? Do you have to do a certain number of parties? Like, what kind of quotas do you have to meet in order to maintain your membership with the company? This one is really, really important. You need to know how you're going to be supported. So what training and education is set up for the sales force? So how are they going to train you? How are they going to equip you to be successful at this? And, this can go either way. Like, if you've got a, someone who's saying like, you know what, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to take you every step of the way. That's great. But you want to make sure that there is a program for teaching you to be independent of them. So I would ask that question, like, how do you then, spin your people off? How do you create independence within your team and all of that? So you just want to know, like, what tools, what resources, what training is going to be available to equip you to be successful. And that's really a personal preference for how you like to be trained and that sort of thing. And the last question number 21, does the company offer any guarantees to the sales reps or to your customers? So first, for your customers, you definitely want to make sure there is some sort of guarantee in place that you are supported with if your customer has a bad experience with the products, or not necessarily bad, or just wrong experience, right? You need to switch things out. So you want to make sure that your company backs you up on that, so that way you're not paying so much out of your paycheck if they don't like their products and you get returns and that sort of thing. So that's one thing that you want to think about. The other is, does the company offer guarantees for the sales reps? Now, this is actually kind of a rare thing for a company to offer a guarantee, but it's out there. It exists, right? So ask them, like, is there anything, like, what if I invest all this money in this and I'm not successful? Does the company offer some sort of safety net or buyback program or buyout program for those who are not successful in this? So that's another thing that you are definitely going to want to ask about the compensation plan there. So hopefully these questions have been helpful to you. So let me tell you, so hopefully you took some notes, right? I went through the questions, but I also dove into the questions. If you want, these questions are all part of my free report, which is called The 10 Biggest Mistakes Most Busy Moms Make When Starting a Home Business and How to Avoid Them. So if you are a mompreneur or you are desiring to be a mompreneur, this free report is going to give you all these mistakes that a lot of people make. These are mistakes that I have made, and these are mistakes that I have noticed other people making in their businesses with my years and years of experience in the network marketing industry. So if you want to avoid some of those mistakes, this is going to talk to you about those pitfalls that many busy moms fall into. And it's really geared toward busy moms. Anybody can download it and it'll be great information. But for busy moms, there are certain things that we have in our lifestyle that can make it they're just different pitfalls for us, right? Because of just the way that we run our lives. So definitely download that free report. It's free. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I'm going to give you a link to my blog where you can download that free report. If you are watching this on my blog, my More Than a Mom episodes, then the link will be actually right below this video here. So if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And those of you watching on my blog, please subscribe to my blog. I'm going to be making these videos every Tuesday and Thursday. So I'll be putting up a new video twice a week. And they're going to focus on, it's all about helping busy moms to reclaim that identity. So these videos all are going to focus on, number one, the beauty aspect, because what's the first thing to go when we become new moms, right? We stop taking care of our personal appearance. So I'm going to talk about beauty tips and how to basically get unfrumped from the mom frump, and how that makes us feel. And because when you look good, you feel good and all that stuff. So I'm going to give a lot of tips for busy moms there. I'm going to talk. Then the second thing that I talk on is productivity. I talk on time management and productivity, because one of the biggest things that hold us back is all of the mom tasks that bog us down every single, and I'm not talking about the wonderful, fulfilling things like spending quality time with our families. I'm talking about the stupid menial tasks that just are involved with all the hats that we wear as a mom. So I'm going to talk about my time management strategies for how to manage your time with all that stuff, how to set up systems, how to set up routines. So what that does is that frees you up for you to spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, spend time with yourself, right? So that way you can really have that freedom to be more than a mom when you're not bogged down by all that stuff. And the third thing I talk about is finding your purpose outside of the home as a mompreneur, or even just helping you to figure out your passion and to make your mark on the world. I truly believe that every mom needs to have something outside of the home that gives her that passion and that fulfillment. So those are the three topics that I speak on. So I will be posting these videos every Tuesday and Thursday. So definitely subscribe so that you stay in the know for that there. If you like this video, please give me a like, and I would love to hear your comments below. Which of these questions do you think will be most helpful to you the next time that you are looking at a business opportunity? So anyway, this is Brittany Ash signing off. And until next time, thank you so much for watching to the end, and you have an amazing rest of your day.